The sun burned low over the Arizona frontier, turning the dusty sky into a sheet of hammered copper as Wade Callahan rode into the makeshift marketplace outside, Fort Bowie, his boots and conscience equally, worn down by years of drifting, from one lonely job to the next, never staying anywhere long enough to be remembered. Traders shouted, horses stamped, and army scouts patrolled like restless wolves, but Wade had eyes only for the cage sitting at the far end of the market, because inside, bound by rope and dust, sat a young Apache woman whose spirit radiated stronger than the scorching heat itself. Her chin lifted in defiance, her obsidian eyes sharp enough to cut through the cruelty around her. Wade had seen slaves before, frontier. Greed made monsters of many men, but something about her struck him like a blow to the chest. She wasn't broken, only held. "She's trouble," a gruff trader warned as he noticed Wade lingering. "Wild, proud, and worth more than the army's offering. You buy her, you're buying death." Wade ignored him. He couldn't explain why. Maybe it was the lingering guilt of all the faces he couldn't save in his drifting years, or maybe something deeper, older, like fate pressing its weight on his shoulders. When the bidding began and the soldiers tossed their coins carelessly, Wade stepped forward, dropped his entire month's earnings without hesitation, and spoke the words that changed both their lives forever. "I'll take her," gasps scattered through the crowd. No white man bought an Apache woman alone unless he intended something vile. Whispered assumptions wrapped around him like smoke, but Wade didn't care. When the ropes were cut and she was shoved toward him, she stumbled once, caught her balance, and stared him down with a fury that could turn rivers to steam. "I am Nienna," she said, her voice low, steady, refusing to be erased. "You do not own me." Wade didn't try to correct her. He knew trust wasn't something you earned with words. He led her to his horse, keeping a respectful distance, offering water with open hands instead of force. She hesitated, mistrust shadowing her features, then took it only because dehydration threatened to claim her pride before he ever could. As the sun sank behind the ridges, Wade guided his horse toward his remote cabin at the foot of the Dragoon Mountains, a place too small for dreams but large enough for ghosts. Nienna said nothing for the first hour, her wrists bruised, her posture rigid, her gaze darting like a fawn waiting for the next predator. But when thunder rumbled in the distance and the sky split open with desert rain, she finally spoke, not to him, but to the sky itself. "My people will think I am dead." Wade swallowed. "You want to go back, I know. And I'll get you there. I just couldn't leave you with those men." She looked at him sharply, suspicion fighting curiosity. "Why risk your life for me?" Wade didn't answer right away. How could he explain a feeling that struck without him waste money on a woman he didn't intend to use? Why risk being attacked by her tribe, sought by soldiers, judged by society? She turned these questions over silently until the night grew so still she could hear Wade's heartbeat, slow, steady, oddly comforting. And then, as if stirred by her thoughts, he spoke into the darkness without lifting his head. "You don't have to fear me." She stiffened. "I don't fear you," she replied, though fear was not the right word, for confusion, mistrust, and a strange new warmth tangled inside her ribs, making it impossible to rest. Wade exhaled with something like sadness. "Good. I don't want you thinking I saved you just to become another kind of chain." His words struck her, harder than the thunder had. She pushed herself up on her elbows, watching him carefully. "Why did you save me?" she demanded. "Do not tell me it was because you do not like chains." "White men create chains." Wade rolled onto his back and stared at the wooden ceiling, as if gathering the truth from between the beams. "Maybe you're right," he murmured. "Maybe we're all guilty in some way, but I've seen too much cruelty in my life. I'm tired of walking past it. When I saw you, I couldn't." His voice cracked, not weakness but memory. Nienna recognized that sound. It didn't belong to a liar. She sat quietly, her dark hair cascading over her shoulders like the night sky itself. Her face softened by the dim glow of embers. "Your people will come for me," she warned. "If they believe I live, they will hunt you." Wade nodded. "Then I'll bring you back before they do." She hesitated. No white man she'd ever known willingly rode into Apache country. It was suicide, bravery, or stupidity. But Wade looked at her with none of those things. Instead, she found something far more dangerous in his eyes: sincerity. "You would take me home?" she asked softly. "Even if it means never seeing you again?" Wade swallowed, unsure how to explain. The tug in his chest that told him losing her would feel like losing something he'd only just found. "If that's what you want," he whispered. "Yes." The fire let out a soft pop, sending sparks drifting upward like fleeting stars. Niena looked away quickly, angry at the feeling rising in her throat, something she'd buried long ago when war took her. Brother and soldiers burned her camp. She had sworn never to trust a white man again. But now one slept on the floor to give her the bed, offered freedom when others offered chains, and spoke as though her life mattered more than his coin. What kind of man was he? Before she could stop herself, Niena rose from the cot and moved toward the small window, peering out into the moonlit desert. The storm had washed the land clean, leaving the scent of wet earth drifting into the room. It reminded her of home, of the nights she and her brother painted, stories on canyon walls, under the watchful gaze of tribal elders. A sharp ache tugged at her chest. She whispered a prayer in her native tongue, hoping her ancestors could hear her even here, surrounded by walls built by enemies. Wade sat up slowly as he heard her soft chant. "Are you calling for help?" he asked, not out of fear but curiosity. "No," she murmured, her voice drifting like smoke. "I'm asking my ancestors if they have abandoned me, or if they led me here." That answer stunned him. He rose from the floor, keeping respectful distance. "And what do you think?" She didn't turn around. "I think they like to test me." A long silence stretched between them until Wade stepped closer, not touching her, just near enough that the warmth of him brushed her shoulders like a protective cloak. "If they're testing you, I hope I don't make you fail." She finally turned, meeting his gaze fully in the moonlight. For the first time, the defiance in her eyes flickered, not fading but transforming, becoming curiosity, vulnerability, even admiration. Her voice dropped to a whisper that wrapped around them both. "You are different, Wade Callahan. I do not know why, but you are." His breath hitched. The way she spoke his name felt like wind sliding across canyon stone. Ancient, natural, powerful. Then Niena stepped back, reclaiming her steel. "But do not mistake this," she warned. "I'm not yours," Wade nodded. "I know." She searched his face for any sign of deceit, found none, and felt her heartbeat betray her with a strange, unwelcome flutter. Hours passed this way, quiet, tense, full of unspoken truths. When the fire finally died out completely, Wade laid back down, and Niena returned to the cot, but neither slept. Their worlds had collided by force, but something deeper, something neither of them understood, was pulling them toward one another. Like stars drawn by gravity, they couldn't resist, and neither realized it yet. But by sunrise, a single choice would bind their fates forever, in a way neither tribe nor soldiers, nor the unforgiving Cowboy Legends story itself could ever undo.